So we're down camping this for 3 nights down at Towford. We're dealing with the aftermath of our visitors. Heavy use of the toilets, and it's been blocked with toilet paper. It is absolutely clogged. So we brought our jet wash down. George noticed it last weekend when we were down. Thomas is stirring it with a stick. There's a rodding point at the back. George is jet washed, so let's go and have a look. Now, doesn't it?
They toss, where's the pipes? There's the 2 pipes. One goes that way and one goes that way.
We shouldn't be doing this, but it would cost an absolute fortune to get that unblocked. It's just not good at all. It's not good. We're going to have to probably do a bit more with this. It has literally shut up the walls. It's just, I should have put some signs up saying, I don't know, easy on the toilet. I don't even know what we're going to say. Easy on the toilet paper. Yuck. Well, hey, you be in charge of that. Right, George, go there, push it back in. Yeah. Line it up. Line up? Yeah. Back a bit. Coming out. More. So we've had our first day at camp and we've set our tents up down on the big campsite. Unfortunately, I think the septic tank is full, and if I'm being honest, I thought that might happen, if that's what's happened. And we're at a stage where actually there's nothing we can do about that. It's too expensive for us to justify spending the money to get it emptied when we don't have a lease. And unfortunately it does mean that the toilets are just out of action now, so we no longer have flushing toilets, which is a real pain. It's a real sort of pain. And we also don't have any sort of composting toilets in at the minute, so we're going to keep our eye out for a small garden shed second hand that we can maybe get for free as well, and we'll put a composting toilet in somewhere just in the short term. Tomorrow, because we don't have toilets, we are going to go off site. We're probably going to go to Galashiels or maybe to Jedburgh. I'm still grateful for the Polish scouts using the site because it just exercised the site. It put a lot of stress on it, so we now know where the weak points are and we can address them. Obviously, lease and Borders Council notwithstanding, but it's been really useful and I'm grateful for them coming down, and I hope they come down again. Maybe not in the numbers that they did, maybe in smaller groups. That would be good. I think we need to do a lot of work to get the site and the infrastructure up to a standard. I have to say, scooshing jobbies with a jet wash is high risk. It's just not something that, there's a lot of YouTube channels and Facebook reels and TikTok channels that, and all it is people making poop smoothies. I'm not into it. I don't like the smell. There really isn't anything about it that is even therapeutic. So I don't ever want to do that again. Good morning. Good mid-morning. Slept in a bit this morning. The midges are really bad. It's a grey day and the toilets are still blocked. It makes you wonder why anyone would go camping, but I think if you were wild camping you wouldn't even have toilets that could flush or get blocked. You'd literally be pooing in a bush. So maybe our expectations are too high. They probably are. In any case, it's still good fun. We had a bit of banter last night, we had the fire going. It was a wee bit on the chilly side. Scotland, August, it's cold. It's just the way it is. And as I say, it's a grey day today, but not cold. So today, we did have more grass to cut. We were going to finish the path up to the water tank. If I'm being honest, and this is a wider comment about the whole project, I've kind of, my enthusiasm for it has stalled. All this work on the grounds and on the infrastructure. The jobby experience yesterday it may have tipped me over the edge. We're making all this effort, we're doing all this work, and that yesterday was foul. No fault of anyone. Things got used as they were supposed to be used. I thought it might happen, but for us to be doing all that, for these young people to be down every weekend, pretty much every weekend, working away, cutting grass, strimming, mowing, building, conserving, and then for Borders Council, for the people at on the other side of the administrative process to be doing seemingly absolutely nothing, and not telling us even if they're not able to do anything, is just, well, I mean, it doesn't exactly fill me with enthusiasm, and I think it's unfair on the young people. And also it makes me a liar. I'm telling them, oh, we'll renovate it, we'll do this, it'll be excellent, and in actual fact, I have no clue. I can say no such thing. It may seem as if I'm saying that because it's a miserable Sunday morning and it's just started to drizzle lightly. Another aspect of the Scottish summer is that at this time of year you've got the air, the atmosphere comes in three parts. It's 1 part drizzle, 1 part air, and 1 part midgey, and there's nothing else. But anyway, today what we're going to do is we're going to have some late breakfast. What's that called? 11s. And then we're going to go out, we're going to go into Jedburgh, I think, and use it and get proper toilets, because yeah, it's not ideal. And we're going to keep an eye out for a shed still, because we're going to try and build a composting toilet. I shall film as and when things that are exciting happen. Possibly not. We're not going to be digging around in poo again. That is not happening. I'm not doing that again. If you go left, Dylan, and just lean it, it's kind of going, lean it up against where the other one is. There we go. Watch your nails. Nay bother for Daniel. It's like, she's giving you all of them to carry. Watch your head. Watch your face on those nails. Mate, see these wider ones? Go and do 2 men at them, not 1. I think it's a 2-man. It's not safe for just 1 person. You can't see where you're going. Who says I never risk assess anything? So what are these for? I hear you ask. These are for our toilet that we're building. So this is a composting toilet. We've dug a hole. Thought we'd found the septic tank for the old toilets, but it was just a massive rock. I was engaged in some manly activity that I never filmed, which was using a chainsaw to fashion a toilet kind of aperture type. Is that what it's called? Toilet aperture. I'm going to call it toilet aperture, which we've already done. And this is going to sit in there, and then it's going to be amazing. It's going to be the best jobby anyone's ever had. The inaugural planting of the toilet. I have this bit to carry. Okay, so basically I would suggest that it needs to come forward. The hole needs to be, you can't be over the hole in your entirety. So if you bring the bar to here, so if you, that'll do, a bit that way, a wee bit, right, okay, a wee bit further that way, pick it up, that'll do. Right. So I mean, I'm no expert, as I think we've all managed to ascertain. Some more wood across there, maybe somehow. I don't quite know how that would work, but because there's a big gap there that you could fall down, maybe, or a child could anyway. You're quite skinny. You might just go like us, Thomas. Right. So it should just. Actually,
It's not needed. Really,
Yeah, it
is
isn't
it?
really needed. You can stick it back on as well if you want.
Somebody in the hole screwing them in, and then just go for there.
Why can't we just cut that off?
Because it's all part of the rigidity of the... It was one of those stupid Chinese puzzle type things where we built this and it fitted, but then we built it and it doesn't fit because it's all together. It's 3 bits of wood. So give us a minute, we'll be right back. The midges around here are terrible because it's shaded right under a tree where they probably all live as well, and we've built a shit house in the middle of the midgie metropolis. This is what we've built, so it looks a bit shonky. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. When I do this, I have an image in my mind about what a thing will look like, and usually it ends up looking a bit like that, and it's rubbish and it's terrible and it's slightly embarrassing. But this doesn't look too bad, and it's sturdy. We do need to do some work. We're just going to build a frame for the door. We've taken the door off this, and we're just going to build a frame for that, and then we're just going to cobble it together, and then we're going to strengthen it a little bit. And then the last thing would be, well, we need to tidy up the inside of it so that people don't fall down that gap into the hole where the jobbies go. And then we're going to get some sort of a roof on it, but we may just go for a tarp roof, nothing too fancy. So we've also opened the septic tank. I'll spare you the... I didn't video it because it was just too foul to be there for that length of time to even think about it. So the septic tank is totally full. I dare say it'll empty a little bit. There's a lot of liquid and that's supposed to drain away over time. We're gonna have a wee break and then we're gonna continue with this. Hopefully this rain will go off. Good morning. Day 3. It's funny when you're doing these camps and probably doing these videos, you'll see the condition of the person presenting the video deteriorate as time progresses. So on day 1, or the first day, you know, you've not slept in a tent, i.e. you've not slept rough for an evening, so you're probably looking okay. And then on day 2, you've had a night under canvas. Not an unpleasant night, but possibly an uncomfortable night, and you're looking a bit rough. Haven't really slept properly, hair's in some disarray more than usual. And then on day 3, which is what this is, you just look like a tramp. You've got the same, obviously got the same clothes on that you had on day 1. I have actually changed because on day 1, the first thing we did was jet wash poo. But in any case, so I've definitely changed clothes there. But day 3, I feel really rough. I sound probably really rough. I've had a cold and I'm kind of getting over that. But yeah, yesterday or last night I'd moved my tent because the first night I slept on a hump, which wasn't great. So I moved that. The older group are just getting packed up. They're going away today. They're only staying for 2 nights. We've got another night and I've no idea why. We should all just go home. We should all just go home, but we're staying for another night. We're going to finish our composting toilet, so because we need to put in some other sort of toileting solution because our toilets have filled up. The weather today is dry, although it is raining slightly. So it's like drizzly, sunny and warm all at the same time. So typical Scottish weather. Yesterday, last night, from about, I don't know, 4 o'clock, it just rained. It just rained and rained. And it rained until about 3 o'clock in the morning. I checked the IBC tanks. The filter in the IBC tanks had blocked up again. It's a really fine filter. I might just take it out. So I cleaned that at about 1 o'clock in the morning to make sure that the IBC tanks filled up. I don't know why, because the toilets, we're not using them, but it's a water supply, so it's better to have it and not need it than need it, and better to have it and not need it. Have it and not need it, and or we've got a highly complicated locking mechanism, which is something propped up against the door. It is lopsided, of course it's lopsided. It's not finished yet. We've got some finishing touches to put. It needs a roof. It doesn't actually need a roof, but it does need a roof because there's a lot of coverage from the trees here, so the tree stops any rain. It's very midgy round here because it's shaded, and this tree I think is Midgie City. So what have we got inside? We have, steady, inside we've got our door on, and then we've got our bench and our toilet seat there, which is covered in something. What is that? Leaves or something off the tree. So basically we'll fill in the gap under the seat there, and we'll obviously secure the toilet. See, that toilet seat's still in its wrapper, and we'll put a proper lock on the door, and we'll fill in the gaps as we see fit and make it sturdy. It's really sheltered around here, so it shouldn't blow away or knock over. I mean, it weighs a ton. These big blue pallets that we've built it out of are really heavy duty pallets. So it actually went quite well. Normally when we build these things, they just do not end up going well. What's the plan, William?
Probably cut these ones down so you can get a slope.
Okay.
And then screw those ones in at the back.
Okay. Keep engineering. You as well, George.
He's been drilling the door shut so that I can't get out.
It's very good, Paul, you know.
Close it now. It's not gonna work. Okay, actually. Why? Just because there's quite a bit of smoke over it. My masculinity is. Right, George. You.
Our toilet is just about done. We have a roof on. We did the blue roof behind us there, but it wasn't big enough. We should measure. We thought it would be. It's just a pallet covered in tarp. So we're repurposing all sorts of. We've got pallets from up the road that we brought down, heavy duty pallets which form the base. We have the sides of it are the old wood paneling from inside Towford, the building upstairs, the old dormitories. Everything's repurposed. The only new thing on it is the toilet seat. Even the lock inside the door is repurposed. So yeah, either you can think of that as us being, you know, ecologically friendly and recycling, or that we're just tight. Either or. The only observation we would make is that the hole we've dug isn't that deep. We dug it by hand. I'm going to do some research about how that works, because on the basis that you have your poop and then you drop a little bit of the sawdust on to cover it, and that would to me imply that it needs to be a straight drop. Can't believe we're having this conversation on YouTube, but in any case, so you can't like have a big an extension of the hole behind it, otherwise you wouldn't be able to cover your jobby with sawdust because it would be way down and round. So yeah, so the thing is, it's not attached to the ground. We could actually attach a couple of, like, I don't know, 2x4s lengths of wood to the side and just get someone on each corner and pick the whole thing up and shift it. We will get a waterproof box to hold the sawdust and the toilet paper, and we're going to put a sign on saying make sure the door's closed all the time, because it does, that's its natural state. It does just swing open, so if it's windy it's not going to last long. We do occasionally get visitors on site that really shouldn't be here, and frankly sometimes people can just be horrible. They can just be such awful people, and they come in and they leave a mess. We've had people just like take a squat in the middle of a path and just leave it with a pile of toilet paper. Why people think that's okay to do is, I can't figure it out. But if anyone's going to come in here and they're going to see it and they'll think, oh, I'll just take advantage of a beautifully presented composting toilet, but they're not going to like tidy up after themselves, or they're going to abuse things, then what we're going to do is we're going to put a nature camera in there when we're not here. So we're going to plant a wildlife camera in there, and if anyone comes in that's not supposed to be here, we're putting it on YouTube and Instagram. If we're here, or if other people are here that are supposed to be here, and we know they're here, we will remove all wildlife cameras. But otherwise, you won't see it. You will not see the camera, but it will be there. So if anyone's like looking at this thinking, I'm going to go down to Towford for a jobby, just be aware, there's cameras everywhere. Maybe. Well, you won't know, will you? And that's the thing. So I am coming from you from inside our new toilet. Don't worry, I've got my trousers on. So this is our new composting toilet, and this is the door, and as you can see it works quite well. We've got our toilet seat fitted. We haven't put any toilet roll or any of that stuff in yet, but we've had a quick discussion about how we might do that, and we're thinking that what we'll maybe do is we'll have a plastic box, a watertight plastic box with sawdust in it, and with toilet roll, a compartment for toilet roll, and we'll leave it out when we're here. But when we're not here, we're probably going to lock the door. We're probably going to lock this up, because cumulatively one person coming in and using it is fine, but it won't just be one person. And the one person that does it will think, well, it's just me, but it's not just them. It's them and all the other people that think it's just them. And frankly, I don't think we should have to deal with other people's jobbies. It's bad enough having to deal with the people's jobbies that are supposed to be here, without also having to deal with the people that are not supposed to be here. So we'll lock it up. But that's it. We've got a lovely toilet seat. This, by the way, is one up from the bottom. It's not the cheapest toilet seat. That was a bit plasticky. We decided that it wouldn't survive a scout camp, so we got something a bit more sturdy. £20 that was. And that's it. We have a lock. Hold on while I demonstrate the lock. Thomas fitted the lock. So the lock, there we go. So safe and secure in the composting toilet. We'll get some tapestries and some artwork up here. The lovely. There's a wee coat hook there, sort of. It's actually the old latch, but we're calling it a coat hook. There we go, that's what that is. And for if we're not here, because the door just opens like that, so it's default position as already explained, we have this rustic latch system to keep the door closed. Is that not the most amazing thing? And now if we go just for a quick tour around here, I'd be very careful if you are walking around here. One slip up and you could end up down in that hole there. What do you think, Thomas?
It's really good. George will like it.
We think that George might be the inaugural user, so we're going to get him a wee certificate. Good job, team. Day 4 of our 3-night 4-day camping experience down at Towford. It's mid-morning, we're just getting packed up. We're going home today. Camping is, you need to be comfy, and if you're going to go for more than, I would say more than one night, you can do one night with not great sleep, but 2 nights in a row it just gets, usually if you're of a certain disposition, you would have one bad night and then the following night you'd sleep in anything. You would just sleep in anything, and it wouldn't matter. You could be upside down in a tree and you would still sleep because you'd be so tired. But generally speaking, I think the older you get, the less that begins to work. We're going to get our tents dried as much as we can. I think we'll be able to, the sun's out, so the site is drying out, and that's it. Only other point to note is we've just been tidying up this morning and another motorbike went down in the ford. I dare say no motorcyclist will see this, but if you're going through the ford here at Towford, that's why it's called Towford, because there is a ford, it is really, the bottom of the ford is really slidey. That's I think the third or the fourth motorbike that's just gone down. We were down here some time ago, like 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago, and we were just turned up and we looked over and there was a guy sitting in motorbike gear, but he didn't have his trousers on. He just was sitting on the bridge there in a motorcycle jacket and bare legs, shoes off. We hope he had pants on, but he was like, all his peely-wally legs were out on show. And I think he'd fallen, he'd dropped his bike and he'd got soaked, so he'd taken his trousers off to dry them off. So if you're going to go through that, you really need to go through very carefully. And I say that as someone that's got a motorbike and that is currently nursing a broken ankle because I dropped it on my ankle. Did your tent stay dry last night?
Yeah.
So if you take your tent down and just carry it up and lay it out and we'll get it dried up in the sun. It goes without saying, obviously we're on our way home now. We've been here for 3.5, 4 days, and today is lovely. The sun is shining, it's warm, there's a light breeze, yesterday it rained for 16 hours, and the day before that it rained for 16 hours. And I think the day before that it might have rained for 16 hours. So that's the Scottish weather for you. And now we're going home. Some of the others went home yesterday and we were going home today. And I can't lie, I'm glad to be going home. I'm too old for camping. I'm never doing this again, ever.
When's the next camp?
Never.
Oh,
Does that make you sad?
yeah, I love camping.
Really?
I'm in my element when I'm camping.